Hello and welcome, listeners, to another episode of Tactical Awareness. It's Season 3, Episode 23, Zeros to Heroes, and we are moving on to Nomads with Corregidor, the EVA 0G outside the spaceship faction with all kinds of cool tags, and a very strong hacking game. So I'm joined by Owen and Dan for our faction review where we make lists, so let's get this underway.
That's not true. I haven't killed him. He can't die.
You can't die? That's why you just painted a new one?
That's why I painted another one. That one is immortal. He's shiny and chrome now.
The more Maximuses you have painted, every time one dies, you have to paint a new one so you can replace them. So another Max will rise to the challenge. Owen still not having a camera means we have the perfect spot to put the army lists when we do this on YouTube, which is great.
Perfect.
So we just overlay the army list over Owen's dead inside face.
Easy.
Well, it's Corregidor time, people. We're together for another Heroes to Zeros, the series in which we make army lists for each of the factions in Infinity and 5. We realized we hadn't done Nomads. Also, we got corrected by the listeners. We haven't done Aleph either. We did Aleph, I think, really late last edition, and then we talked about him after Adepticon because of your day ones, because of your the day one dominance. And we had to explain what the fuck was going on with that army list. Because remember, everyone was like, I don't understand how this is good. I'm so confused.
There was a bit of conversation about that. It's true.
Yeah, there was a lot of no one, I don't understand this list at all. This list doesn't make any sense to me. Because you took an all B squad Aleph army and you wanted Adepticon with it. So,
well, Aleph is also I don't know if we want to talk too much about it, but they also have a bad rap right now.
Yeah, they do. I think they have the combined army rep though, where they used to have these really powerful combos, and now they're just not as straightforward anymore, right? So I think they've got that same bad rap. I think there's still an army in there. They're not the previous army, not the previous edition's army even. So you can't play them the same way.
This guy likes all of his classic models and doesn't even bring a intruder.
Well, what, me?
Shame.
Well, no, they got rid of my profile that I liked. They got rid of the Killer Hacker Shock Marksman rifle. That was the profile I loved.
Fair.
Well, I'll go first then, because I might as well.
I have no idea what the hell's going on. I've tried to make a list. I was staring. I'm like, I don't know what this is. All incomprehensible.
Dan joined. It's funny because this is actually one of the shorter armies too. They only their profiles are pretty straightforward. They do all their profiles kind of do a variation of the same thing. And
if I was going to go complexity in Nomads, it's definitely Corregidor is the easiest.
Yeah,
then Tunguska, then Bakunin,
and then Bakunin last. Yeah, these guys have a real I think even they're because when you strip out the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Zons. They have exactly 2 warbands, 2 skirmishers, 3 tags, 3 heavy infantry, 6 medium infantry, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, including the War Corps light infantry selections, which is fucking short. That's not a lot of profiles to choose from. And each of them kind of do a variation of the thing that the other one does. So the Bandits and the Maasai Hunter, the Moran, are both these awesome turn 0 repeaters. McMurrow and the Jaguars, obviously McMurrow does McMurrow things. The Jaguars are this regular warband that's super cheap and interesting and dogged. They're just a cool.
Well, let's talk through our list and then you can copy us as we go.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about them at the end. But I just wanted to kind of do an overview of these things are this army's not that complicated. And I think in fact there will be a lot of similarities between our lists just because you can't make a different list. There's only so many things you can take, right?
Well, could take 4 geckos if you're not a coward.
Could take 4 geckos if you're not a coward. I took a Gator though, baby, because Gator don't play. So my list is Group 1, a Gator, a Wildcat Engineer, because they can duo. And a lot you'll probably hear from all of us later on with the Bakunin army. You've got when you can take an engineer and have them follow you around to fix you, then do it. The Wildcat also solves a bunch of problems because he's got a MSV1, so you can protect him from smoke a little bit. He's got a flamethrower, combi rifle, decharge and gizmo kit. He's got a deactivator as well for turning on and off things like mirror balls. and pitchers. So you can be really, really handy. I love the Gator. It's one of my favorite tags. He's not a close combat tag, but he does have like the stats that make him not easy prey to like dedicated close combat pieces, right? He's CC 20. He's got an EM close combat weapon. So any heavy infantry melee guys, it's not that they can't beat him. It's that if he gets lucky, they're done, right? Because he's going to hit them with a PS5 EMCCW, which is no joke. And then he's got one of my favorite pieces of equipment, which is a mine dispenser, which means you can shoot grenades. And obviously, in this edition, free reloads off of baggage means that any kind of mine launcher, any kind of reloadables have gone up way higher in value than they used to be. It used to be that only Maggie can do this trip. Now basically everybody can. And then he's got his templates because he's got chain rifle +1 burst, so he can defend himself against like light warbands like Shinobus and things. Tack aware, he's NCO, which is super sweet. He's got dodge, Fizz 11, dodge +2 inches though, so he can dodge 4 inches when he's dodging. And he's CC attack -6 built in, ECM hacker -3 built in. So if you firewall him, he's ECM hacker -6. He's really a very durable, good all-around tag. And the price tag of only 74 points, I think is like a really reasonable price tag for this package. How do you guys feel about the Gator? I know you liked him, Owen.
Yeah, he's great. He's almost there of being like up there as one of my favorite tags. I love NCO.
Yeah.
I like that he's ECM -3. I like that he's not quite good enough in CC.
No.
He's good enough that he'll scare off like a, I don't know, like a Fade or something like that.
Yeah.
But he has a terrifying melee weapon and he doesn't have a failure state. So if you're not like a decent CC guy, you don't want to go into melee because you might just get killed by him.
And I've actually used him to punch other tags. He's actually really scary against other tags because they don't want to fight him with no failure state and him dropping most tag CCs down to like 11 with that -6, right?
There's one tag who will fight him now.
No.
Actually, there's like 5.
There's like 5 now, but if he walks into like a whatchamacallit,
even the big scary ones,
the
like
Tickbalangs, the
Avatar, Sphinx, the Avatar, the Marut, the Cutter, the Yodam. There's like a whole bunch of them that don't want to have that.
We're just like, oh fuck, please no. He just shocks him because it's funny. He's covered in like the little Fallout 3 Tesla coils. That's actually his weapon, is that he's got this like energy field that's like surrounding him, this huge like ball of energy, which I think is really cool. So he's not actually hitting you with like a kill stick. He's just got this like massive like electronic charge that comes after him. Then I've got a reactions on with the Thunderbolt. I was a big fan in the new edition of these, and when I was tinkering with this list between N4 and N5, that reaction Thunderbolt was my replacement for the attack aware salutes, the ones with the tactical awareness and the combi rifle. Vertigo's on missile launcher because if you're playing Corregidor without having at least some type of guided like engagement, you're playing it wrong. You always take the missile launcher, even if you're not planning on doing active turn hacking. You've got lots of reactive turn hacking because you're going to have 2 Morans. Again, this is like the non-negotiables, I think, in this list. Morans. There'll be some argument from one later that the band is now the non-negotiable, but built-in repeater, infiltration, +1 burst flash pulses, and they can mine lay crazy koalas is fantastic. Salyut Evo hacker, so he can throw some firewalls out if he needs to. He can U-turn combat drop troops, and then he's got his reloadable baggage to get the Gator, swimming in mines, and he can also reload the Morans if he wants to. McMurrow to go do McMurrow things. McMurrow is, I don't think if you can take McMurrow, you take McMurrow. 27-point melee package. He's just great. He was so good when you could give him a speedball. He's still great even the way that he is now. And then my thing that a lot of people don't, I think, understand this list, but I really like, is the Mole Brigada Lieutenant. And he is fire teamed with Jazz FTO, an Aguasil Forward Observer, and a Daktari Doctor. And he's there because he's firewall -6 for Jazz to be able to throw out hacking through with those Moran repeaters. And because he gives me a turn 3 fighting piece and a lieutenant order to give to the Gator turns 1 and 2. Having a Moran with a multi-rifle, just be able to stand up and a +1 burst boarding pistol and be like, hey, I'm here to fight now in the final turn. We don't care if you lieutenantize or not, has been like a clutch piece for me in so many games. And he's a great fighting piece. He's also hard to assassinate, which keeps you he keeps you out of the lost lieutenant state just because he's a armor 5, 2-wound heavy infantry that's shocking in with a 360 visor, which is a great guard piece during the turns when he's not actively going out and doing stuff. And then late in the game, he just breaks into the fire team and goes and fights. Jazz FTO, obviously, pitcher, right, hacker, number 2. So the fire team drops to her if somebody gets knocked out. And then the Aguasil FO and Dactari Doctor in there to make the fire team legal so she can get that plus bonus dice on her pitcher. So she can lay pitchers where you need them. And then just a transductors on. So I got my 2 deployment zone hacking net pieces too. And the idea there is that between the 2 Morans and the 2 transductors, and then Jazz in the middle, my entire half of the table is touched by a hacking net. There's almost nowhere you can go where you don't get hacked when you're revving the table. And that's my list. Any thoughts and comments from the peanut gallery before we move to Owens?
I mean, yeah, it ended up being very similar to mine, but in very different. There are different but significant ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my only thing is like everyone's just revealed. There's no
there's
no camo.
Yep.
And then
that's a power in of itself.
yeah, I guess. And you've only got the one gun, really. You've got McMurrow and the Gator.
McMurrow and the Gator. They're the fighting pieces. That's it.
Yeah. That Gator's got to do some heavy lifting.
Yeah. Everybody knows who's coming for him. That's it. He's the one that's got to do the fighting. The Wildcat can do once. The thing is, the Gator gets the Wildcat in range, and having a BS-13 MSV1 visor that can go and fight around a Gator too. He can get set up. I've actually used the Gator a lot to set up the Wildcat to fight camo pieces, where I'll drop 2 mines next to the camo piece, and then corner cut with the Wildcat, and then finish that guy off. So there's a lot of it only has the big one long range gunfighter in the Gator, but he's a hell of a gunfighting piece. And then he's got the melee option with McMurrow, and the Wildcat does the rest. So,
the close range, you've got the million combi rifles and McMurrow and shotguns and all that kind of stuff. It was mostly just the outside 24 fighting. There's just one, and then the reaction bot, I guess.
And the option for an active turn missile run.
Yeah. If either you picture them or they run into it.
That's usually the pitcher. There's a lot of scenario. If there's ever a 16-inch deployment zone scenario, I'll usually try and go for the missile run, right? Because you start so far forward, you can put the missile, or you can put the pitcher wherever you need it to be.
Pitchers shoot 24 now. Who cares?
I know. I know you can shoot the board, but that's what I'm saying. If you're 16 up, you can get there's nowhere they can hide really, even back in the deployment edge.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about there's nowhere they can hide, even in their deployment edge.
Moving on to bandits. Too close for missiles, switching to bandits.
So this is a slightly more distilled version of the list that I had posted before.
Yeah.
Where it takes all of the things. So everything that you had in your list, with the exception of the Gator, I just took in my own list, only to do a different job. Yeah. So
let's go through the beginning. Group 1.
So we've got the double bandit. There's an argument for the bandit to be in group 2, one of them, but just keep them in there. Well, we got a lieutenant with Firewall 9 and 6, linked with Jazz, linked with the Wildcat hacker.
Just a question: Can one of them form the core of the fire team?
The Brigada does.
It says you do the core fire team, yeah.
Yeah. And then the reason I don't get any special dice, but I don't care about it because I'm here for hacking. The reason you bring the Wildcat hacker is he has combat instinct, so you can't stealth. So, in other words, you could have gotten around Jazz because you could have stealth and not get hit by the repeater. Now the Wildcat will hit you, and as soon as you react to the Wildcat, Jazz can hit you too. Sure. So there's no escape from the repeaters now. Then I have my 2 Morans with their repeaters and crazy koalas in the midboard. I've got my missile bot, and I've got McMurrow. And then in group 2, I have Flash Pulse bot, Warcore, repeater. I have an intruder HMG so that I can smoke him with McMurrow and chew up long range targets in the same way a tag would. And then I've got Carlotta to do the backline walk in your deployment zone as well. just cuz. So now I can attack you anywhere at any time. And if you want to talk, like, you covered your half of the board, I covered the entire board.
I do like Carlotta. Yeah, she's great. She is. I have found her to be glassy though, right?
Of course.
She's just a an arm 2 1 wound, no BTS.
Yep.
But
she's
there. Where she
there.
wants to go. She's real good at doing objectives though.
Which is parachutist deployment zone now.
I know.
So you just
she was last edition too.
If they hug the back edge and I missile them into the ground, then she comes and finishes them off.
Yeah.
This is like the worst thing that I would want to play against, in all fairness. Like I think this is an obnoxious list.
I do think it suffers from a couple of things that you mentioned even in my list though, is you don't have like, you've got one long range gunfighter. Yes, you can show up in the opponent's zone with Carlotta. Don't be wrong, that's great. But neither of them can take more than one wound before they go down. And then after that, it's the exact same stuff I had, right? It's McMurrow. It's the
right. But the difference is that I also have two guys with repeaters in marker state starting next to their deployment zone.
Possibly, yeah.
On a 75% chance each. So odds are at least one of them is there, which means what's that?
With your dice?
Yeah, odds are one of them will be there. 75% chance twice, probably one.
Probably one. Yeah, that's why Owen doesn't play with Kitsune.
Yeah. And so like the big difference there is that you have to fight with the gator to clear a path so you can shoot pitchers.
Yeah.
Or they have to just play poorly to let you be able to shoot those pitchers, because you're obviously deploying first if you're going first, right? If you're deploying second, then it's a wash, right?
The bandit has a couple problems though, right? Because he's in a camo state. He can't deploy near other camo markers.
Absolutely, he can. He's not a mine. Mine layer stops you. He is not a mine, and he's not deploying a mine, so he doesn't need to intuitive either. He's not stopped by that.
I thought camouflage markers couldn't go next.
No, to camouflage marker. That's not the case.
It might be an old rule. Owen taught me that rule, and then I learned differently, and I was like, what?
Yeah. So there's nothing stopping him. He can just deploy wherever he wants, assuming he passes his check, which puts him right where he wants to be, right off the break. And because of that, I don't have there's no counterplay that they could make against me that they could make against you. You could be in it. They could set themselves up where they're hiding behind a wall or whatever, and there's a line for you to move what's her name out in order to shoot a pitcher so that you can hack them and kill them, right? But then I could reveal a hidden model to stop you. And like now you have to make a choice, and you won't want to do that because you only really have one hacker. That you can't do that to me. I automatically get it. I can do it without any risk. I can just have it or not. Maybe I fail the rolls. Again, that infinity, right? I could also just never spotlight and fail all my missiles.
Yep.
But this is likely enough that I think it's reasonable to say that I will get that where I want it to be with two of them. Do I get both? Probably not. But do I get one? Probably. And because I have that, and then because one of them made it, I can give him his irregular to go put a second one down if I didn't get it exactly where I needed it to be. If they reserve modeled or something in a way that I didn't expect, he can just go and put it where I need it to be, and then I do the whole thing anyway. And so the need for me to have a long range gun is lower than yours. And the other thing is that my long range gun is also not lampshaded. Like, it's not obvious that it's him.
Sure. I just think there's too many dice. I agree with you that you're getting a repeater down there is incredibly powerful. I just don't think it's as fighting effective as like a tag or like the intruder. You know what I mean? Like there's too many subsequent dice rolls you have to get down to get the spotlight off, and they can reset now to dodge it off and stuff too. So like,
sure.
I think you deploy in such a way that like you only hit one model at a time with the missile, and then you're just spending a lot of orders to kill individual models. And yeah, if you kill the lieutenant, that's really good.
Well, it's like you can kill the lieutenant, sure, but you don't have to kill the lieutenant, because like if we were playing against each other, if you had your list and I had mine, all I do is I put it in the middle of all your remotes, all your bots, and I just start shutting them off. I just go like Oblivion, 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 Oblivion. You don't get arrows against it.
Neither of our lists have a lot of stuff clumped together except for my fire team. You know what I mean? There's not going to be a lot of guys standing up, all to get hit by one repeater.
Right, but I don't have. It's not just one repeater. It's as many repeaters as I choose to walk around in place because I can.
Sure, you'll get 2 down per guy, and you have to make the deployment rolls. But like the one failed deployment roll puts 2 repeaters out of the game effectively because it's on your deployment edge, and then the other one gets 1 before he has to be reloaded. after
If only there was some kind of rule that lets me just drop reloads down anywhere on the board.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I just think that's the difference is the like I don't need to win killing your lieutenant, and I don't need like.
Well, and Corregidor can certainly spend the points to make it so that you have a really dangerous missile play for sure.
Yeah, and it's not just the missile play, right?
Yeah.
Like it's also the isolations and the like the oblivions and the carbonites and like they're all of these other tools that you can hit them with as well. That like you're right. Could I just missile you to death? Sure, that's definitely on the table. But maybe I don't bother with the missile. I just go like, ooh, you've got McMurrow there that I won't be able to touch. So how about I just isolate your Evo and isolate the TR bot and the missile bot, and now you can't fight back anymore. Maybe. Right?
Yeah. Yep. That's a hypothetical that could happen, and it's a very powerful build to try and make that be the case. And they're in camo, so they're the third camo marker you have, so people won't know you have them until you have them.
Well, you just keep them in reserve. Like I'm going first, I keep both, and if I'm going
you make
second,
the roll, they know what they are, right? As soon as you make the roll deep, they're gonna know what they are.
Of course, yeah. But I mean, they're gonna, in theory, if you're the kind of person who has played against Corregidor and the kind of person who plays this kind of Corregidor, or you haven't heard our podcast, you wouldn't necessarily know that that's what's going to happen to you, because this is utterly unique. There is nothing that really does this the way it does it in this faction. And so if you see it all coming and you go, okay, I know he's going to have two of these guys and he's going to put them right on my line. How do you deploy knowing that there are two of them in reserve to be placed down? And if you are going first, how do you deploy in such a way that you won't get speed bumped by a repeater sitting on a rooftop or behind a corner that you're going to have to deal with a 6 Sense hacker on the other side of the coin?
Yeah.
Like that's the challenge that I run into of like, because I've been trying to play against this. Like that's the, how do I fight it? And like Kestrel does pretty good because Kestrel's just pretty good. And so is Shinden. But Shinden does not want to run into this because all of a sudden the big power for the Hatamoto just gets turned off. It's like, oh, your stealth is all cool in that, but no, you don't get that anymore.
Why is this? Why doesn't he get stealth?
Because the Wildcat has combat instinct, so you don't get stealth. So I can always hack.
Oh, the Wildcat. Because you have a Wildcat hacker. That's right.
Right. And so because I hack you, you have to do something, or you just let my Wildcat shoot you for free, which you won't. So now you activate, which means Jazz can now hack you because you've done something to break the stealth. And so you can't even stealth around my repeaters. And then sure, you deactivate my repeaters with a little what are they called?
Rifle. Shoot with a rifle. That's what most people will do that because they'll just like, you can hide them somewhere, but there'll be something to come along and try and kill them.
Well, you have your what is he called? What's the Raven? The Raven Eye walks up and goes, I turn it off using my deactivator on Whip 19 out of line of fire. Got him. And then the Raven Eye gets spotlit and blah blah blah. And he walks over and he gets the other repeater, assuming you get both. Then you just have to fight the Morans, and you have to do the exact same thing 12 inches further up or 4 inches further up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's assuming you've killed the bandits and all that jazz. And I'm not just dropping more repeaters in ARO and getting killed doing it.
I think you should take nothing but this list to every major tournament you go to for the rest of the year and see how it does.
I mean, I haven't seen this list lose yet.
Sweet. Go for it.
I haven't seen my list lose yet either.
That's fair.
Because no one's ever seen your list, Dan. There it is. All right, it's Dan's turn. Whoa, look at these guys.
Yeah.
You took all the stuff we didn't take.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Look at these unique things that don't exist in other factions. They have like 9 unique profiles.
They sure do. Actually, weirdly, Nomads is very good about that, about dividing up their profiles between the different factions.
It's true, because like what little Nomads I played against, I'm like looking at this, I'm like, I've never seen anything.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So yeah, I got an Agua Seal core fire team. That's my lieutenant hiding in. I ran out of points and I couldn't figure out how to get more points, so I upgraded one to an HMG because HMG late game, hiding on a roof, maybe it does things.
Turn 3, when all is lost, you might as well.
BS11, but 4 dice or 5.
5 dice.
Then you got a couple Lobos. One's got the NCO to be able to use Agua Sail Lieutenant with the Red Fury Disco Baller. All the Lobos have Disco Baller, pretty much.
They
which
sure do.
is... Oh, no, they all do it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's...
their idea is that they're the they're the prison guards that that are keeping the Diablos in line, so they have like big flashbangs to like make it so they can catch everybody.
But they're party balls.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, the Warhorse, which is nice. So yeah, so NCO, Red Fury, Disco Baller. But then those 4 took up a 4-man fire team. But then I put the Cyclone.
Yeah, like it's like tsunami. To Cyclone. Cyclone. Yeah, Cyclone.
It's got the Fearbach. And so I was like, hey, that'd be a fun little arrow piece.
The Cyclone's neat. He's got a 360 X visor, climbing plus, and he's arm 3, BTS 6. So for a remote, like putting a marksmanship Fearbach with a 360 visor on the side of a building can be real fucking cool.
Look, I didn't even realize he was a remote till later.
He shoots pitchers too. He shoots pitchers as well, which is great.
I know the pitchers is like okay, cool, another pitcher thrower if I need it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just pretty cool arrow piece because it'll be boosted up to BS 13 in the fire team, and it's just kind of the Lobos will probably just leave the other 3 behind, like the 2 Agua Seals and the Cyclone. But
he had specialized pitchers with him too, right?
Yeah, not too bad. Then I got a Clockmaker with a couple Zonbots. They're at the bottom, but they're basically he's kind of around to heal the Cyclone when it gets punched down, but also lay that combi rifle just kind of in your deployment zone to kind of just speed bump people coming in from the side, on the weak side, whatever, but also just do objectives. Got a couple Jaguars.
Can we mention some of the Clockmaker real fast?
Sure.
He has Gizmo Kit +1 burst. Like he's one of the support pack engineers, right? So you know the doctor and the engineer support packs for like most factions. Most of them don't have this. He has a +1 burst Gizmo Kit, which is real neat. And he's whip 15.
Whip 15 is the fun part.
Whip 15 if he's in base to base with the Zonbots. But he can shoot a Gizmo Kit too. And then you get those 2 dice if you hit with both. So it's neat that he's a bit tuned when it comes to being an engineer. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So I think it was worth the extra couple points. Give him the combi rifle turret. Just drop it off at some point as he's running up the board to do objectives, if that's the case. Jaguars, I totally tuned out, so I don't know if you guys talked about these guys already.
Nope.
11 points for a regular order, dogged, Panzerfaust, smoke grenades. You can poke up their heads if you want to. Adhesive launcher rifles always randomly hit something and just ruin someone's day. And so that's always fun. But they kind of have that Panzerfaust for the long range and adhesive launcher for the short range. And then the short range, well, whatever. Cobra pistol.
For 11 points, if you compare them to an Agua Seal, for 11 points, these guys are terrifying. They fight in melee. They shoot Panzerfausts. They have an adhesive launcher. They can throw smoke. They have a Cobra pistol and a DA close combat weapon. Like, they're dogged frenzy martial arts. Like, they really do a lot for that 11-point price tag.
And they can duo.
Yep. Duo on a Panzerfaust is terrifying.
Even better.
Yeah.
So you got a Feuerbach and Panzerfaust, and
they're a great defensive piece to like hold a corner. The pair of them just like watching separate areas because they can dog it and stay alive, and then get that second Panzerfaust out, and they get the burst bonus.
Then I brought Carlotta as well. I don't understand Moriarty. It's just
he's a Zonbot that also arrives when she arrives.
Oh, I guess she's okay. She's also an engineer, so it just kind of exists.
Yeah, he's just a Zonbot. He's a Zonbot that can destrike, but it has explode, so you can run him into things, and then he's got parachutes deployment zone, and like all of the extra things.
I guess explode is pretty good with arrows in this edition being 1.5 dice instead of 2.
Yep.
Because they can like run into combat with somebody, and they're like, "Well, do you just be engaged and can't
hug him and blow.
React anymore, or do you shoot it and it explodes on you?
Keep backing away while he dodges menacingly at you.
That's fun. I like it a lot now.
Yeah, he's neat for 4 points.
Go, little Zoncat, go. And then my second group, I got Jazz and Billy.
J and B.
Because they seem to be good. Everyone talks about them a lot. I got a Tomcat engineer.
So Billy might be the cheapest regular order in the game, and he comes with an EA bot. So he's another Zon bot, but he's actually a regular order. So like the two of them are two regular orders. He's not like a peripheral. He's just another dude. So kind of like taking Durek and Margot. He's a very unique case where you get these two regular orders. And
it's a flash pulse bot.
He's got a flash pulse and an EM mine.
Right.
And he has a heavy pistol.
Same thing as a flash pulse bot, right?
Yeah. He's got a heavy pistol though, too. He can actually fight and he can fight and shoot.
Right.
And then he's a repeater and all the other things you can do with a remote. But he gives you an actual order, which a lot of these guys don't. So like Moriarty doesn't give you an order, right? He's just a peripheral. Whereas Jazz and Billy can.
I totally skipped over McMurrow in the first group, which is obvious.
You did. Yes. And obviously
the Tomcat as a parachutist, kind of just, when you need to, if Carlotta's not doing all the things, and Tomcat can come in and also push buttons and do things. But also Comulai, full light flamethrower decharges, kind of, whatever. He's the bad guy. He's also got climbing plus, which is really nice.
He does all the classifieds. He's got all the gear to do all the classifieds.
Then I got the missile launcher because, a bunch of natural repeaters and hackers. Well, I guess I only have Jazz and Billy, but whatever. And then I got the TAC-aware Stempler Zone, which is the Ford Observer bot sensor. And every time I bring them, I love them. They're so fast and they can push buttons and they can do all the things. And
I don't know. Climb Plus FOs, he's real good. He's still good, even from last. He's one of the ones that stayed almost the same as last ITS season when they got all the bonus stuff, right? He's got Triangulated Fire, Sensor, Forward Observer, Courage, Climb Plus, Deactivator, and a Repeater. People forget he can sneak up on things and deactivate them with that with 19. Having a deactivator on a Climbing Plus Stempler is hella good.
Yeah, he's gonna get hacked to death though if he tried to deactivate
it. if he's gonna do a repeater, but he can get rid of turrets. He can you know what I mean? Like there's so many disco balls.
Nobody brings turrets except me. I'm stupid enough.
He'll turn off a disco ball.
I bring turrets, just mine layer turrets.
Yeah. If they don't cost orders, if they're free miniatures, then we take them.
Yeah, I don't know. The way I built it is just kind of I got lots of disco baller, lots of smoke. And I can just move up the board and kind of fight or not fight if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And just a bunch of people to do classifieds, and I can cover McMurrow's approach pretty well. I might move maybe the Jaguars to the second group so that they can spend orders throwing smoke so McMurrow can have more orders to do things. But I don't know. It's a list. I don't know.
So it's funny. We're gonna have a long list of zeros on this one that I don't think are actually really zeros. They're just not what we took because we took the greatest hit stuff. The Carlotta, McMurrow, Jazz and Billy, right? Like the Missile Bot. These are all things that almost every Corregidor list is going to have in them. And a few outliers, like you tried at the Lobos, the Cyclone, right? Oh, with the Bandits, they're more like, like newer selections. But there's a lot of stuff we didn't cover that I think, including both the other tags and some special characters that I think are actually worth talking about. So let's do our first
I posted
zero.
a bonus list of.
Oh, is it 4 geckos?
You bet it is.
It's to no one's surprise.
10 orders. They're all regular.
It's funny because it covers two of the guys that I was going to bring up too, which were going to be the Geckos and the Diablos as being things that I think are worthy of their own separate lists. So you might as well just talk about them now. Go for it.
Gecko, Gator Pilot because he's cheap.
Yeah.
Lobo NCO with a Red Fury Disco Baller. 3 9-point Diablos who become regular with the Lobo. The Salute for Evo to make the Geckos a little safe. And an Alguacil Lieutenant in Group 2.
Cowering.
By himself.
Cowering
just
in the
living.
Lobo steals a Lieutenant order. And Alguacil just
I'm gonna say right now, I don't think this list is good because you have no hacker. You have no like. There's
What do I need a
nothing.
hacker for?
It's just shoving tags at people.
Yeah.
Like,
And
there's
they're all they're beefed up tags. They're
get
going to be BTS 9. They dodge on 14s.
They're not going to be BTS 9. They're going to have a firewall, which is not the same thing because it doesn't work against breaker rifles or anything else.
Well, then there's still BTS 6. They're still good about that. And they all like BS 13. They have all of the guns, chain rifles, Blitzens, Panzerfaust, Mark 12s, multi-marksmans. And they can do objectives because they all have their little Robbie bots.
They sure do. Yeah.
And their Robbie bots are with 13.
Yes.
Yeah, Lobos are, or not Lobo.
Diablos.
Yeah.
The Gator does the Diablo. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Diablos because they're the other ones. The Diablos a D block. These are one of your favorite things in N4 was the Digger, and these are like the spiritual successor to Diggers.
Yep.
They just don't get booty. You know,
which is a big loss.
You don't randomly get one with a mod.
They also the other real thing that is the loss is they don't get a chain rifle. They have a boarding pistol, which is okay, but it's not a chain rifle.
It's a short range template, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like an asterisk to make them more effective because you need the Lobo to make them regular. I mean, even irregular at 9 points for the 2 wound arm 2 guy isn't bad. Like, I think that's okay.
9 points for a Berserk, Courage, Dodge +2, Natural Born Warrior. They don't get cover, but like, who cares? You're just shoving them at people to go Berserk.
Yeah. Or again, in my list, they were there just to give the Lobo +1 BS and shoot his disco ballers and red furies to allow the geckos to move forward.
And hit dudes with trench hammers, PS4 trench hammers.
After they got updated from their PS7 that they used to
be. Now they're PS4 trench hammers.
Actually, no, that's not true. Were they the one that had the PS3?
Yeah. I think they
was it that there was somebody, it might have been these
who had the most dangerous weapon in the game.
Yes, somebody had like a
PS3.
Oh, that's what it was. It was AP4, but they had CC attack SR -2.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah. And so they had like a damage 2 DA melee weapon.
It's just like it was almost better than monofilament metal. All right, so then I think that's all that was new in that list. So let's dive back to the top here and talk about somebody that sadly nobody takes, and that's Aguasil Vortex Lupe Balboa. She's a mimetism specialist Aguasil with a Panzerfaust.
You're a loser, Daenerys. You're a loser.
24 points. She's so many
other dragon.
Yeah.
Model.
Yeah. This is the one with the little dragon on her shoulder.
Do I still have that one?
Dogged -3 specialist. She has smoke grenades, which is neat, and a Panzerfaust. I don't know why I'd take her because her kit is so kind of like scatter shot. If she had like a visor instead of mimetism with those smoke grenades.
If you really want an emitter and you don't want to bring a Lunko.
A Lunicod, yeah.
Which
she does core link with the Aguasils.
Yeah.
Emitter Panzerfaust with Dogged is not a terrible arrow piece.
Nope. With mid -3 too. But like she's still just an Aguasil with a slightly beefed up BS. She's 24 points. She's a lot.
Lunicods are 8-2 now with climbing plus mind layer and emitters.
Yeah.
Yep, she is one of the models in Infinity, all right.
Well, and like by comparison, Dan, you can get 2 Lobos for her point cost, right? Or sorry, two Diablos. You can get 2 Jaguars.
You don't need smoke. You don't need combis.
No.
So
but
you bring her for the
two Jaguars do exactly the same job. They're dogged. They have Panzerfausts. They have smoke grenades. You know what I mean? Like
they don't have an emitter, right?
Sure.
Like that's the thing. Like if I was going to bring her, it's because I want an emitter. But then the Lunicod, who is 1 point more than her, is just double the person.
Yeah.
So like, I just bring a Lunicod because.
Nobody's a Dacteris Doctor. Weirdly, the Dacteris Doctor doesn't have the Whip 15 that the Engineer has. This is clearly the Engineering faction, not the Doctoring faction, and they're just a basic Doctor. You can take a Raven Eye, and this was just cool if you really want some mines, some EM mines, and an Emerat.
Mostly he's there for his deactivator.
It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, but because you can take a deactivator on the remote, I think I would just.
Well, the thing is the remotes all get messed up by them, right? So like if you deactivate with the remote, you can get immobilized or isolated in response.
Yeah,
he just gets targeted, so he just wanders around doing it.
Dan, you took a Tomcat, but they're worth talking about a little bit more. They're basically a drop engineer or doctor, and they can also take those Zoncats that Carlotta can take. She's like the souped up version of them. And then Valeria Groma's mercenary hacker with total control +1 burst for 19 points available in this.
She's actually quite good.
She's really good. Yeah, with the zapper and her pitcher, she's a really good backup piece for Jazz and Billy, and she's very affordable at 19 points.
If
she does. She's a wild card.
You can throw her in the same link. If you can find 19, like if you can find 19 points, she's worth throwing in that -6 firewall link.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it depends. I mean, her big claim to fame is she messes up tags in the active turn.
Yeah.
And so like
you have the ability to put pictures anywhere, right? So
yeah, if I wanted to switch something in my list, she would replace the Wildcat.
Yep.
Potentially, and like that would be
you
my
lose
adjustment.
the 6th sense, but other than that,
but because it just becomes more powerful active turn, because now if you bring a tag, you're just punished because she's just going to take control of it and I'm going to kill you with it. But
+1 burst total control on whip 14 when you can't hack back is real good.
Yep. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think she's just one of those things we kind of fell over and didn't talk about. Hellcats, having a combat jump +3 with your Evo hacker for +6. You can drop anywhere on an 18 with a hacker if you want, with a boarding shotgun and D-chargers. That's a real good combat jump. She has super jump propulsion too, and a whip 13 hacker. So if there weren't enough ways for you to put hacker somewhere on the table, that Hellcat is the kind of the ultimate version of that with jump +3. So just like worth talking about again, because you want to be able to put something down. You can also do the paramedic. They've got a deployable repeater. So again, if you want to just put a repeater anywhere from the sky, no order on an 18 with that combat jump, just blam, down they go, drop a repeater. You've now tagged whatever you want to tag.
Well, it's kind of 3 orders instead of no order.
It's their own order to arrive, and then one more order to drop the repeater.
And one more for the Evo to help them.
No.
Yeah.
Is it automatic? Isn't
no support? The ARO is
an arrow.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Support where to jump is an order.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, sure.
I mean, definitely another way to do it.
If you're making a jump list, there's a lot of jumpers in this, and Hellcats at +3 are great. Speaking of which, Sombras. Oh, sorry. I guess we could do Senior Massacre first.
Or Intruders.
We did. Well, you took an Intruder, but we could talk about the other ones.
Intruder used to be the pinnacle of infinity. Oh, look at him now. Look at him now.
I know. The HMG is still fine, but the Intruder hacker with the killer hacking device used to be amazing. They gave him a +1 burst AP submachine gun instead of his shock marksman rifle, and a Pulsar +1 burst.
They did give him infiltration.
They did, yeah, which is cool.
So it's like he lost his long range, but he gained 12 inches of movement.
Yep. And also an AP weapon, whereas he had a shock weapon before. So that burst 4 AP submachine gun was pretty cool. Like he can smoke and like he doesn't have smoke grenades.
And you have McMurrow.
Yeah.
Well, you have smoke grenades everywhere in this faction.
No, you don't have smoke grenades yourself, is what I'm saying. So if you infiltrate, you got to get to him to put the grenade down, is all I'm saying.
Oh, I just mean to say that between McMurrow and Jaguars,
you have a way of doing it. Yeah.
You'll be all right.
For sure. And then there's an Intruder sniper. He
also exists.
Yeah, he's fine. I don't think I'd ever take him, but he's fine.
2 point savings against the HMG. I did bring the HMG. I mean, he's going to choose when he fights anyway. So just bring a gun that on the active turn you can kill somebody.
Putting an X visor on a multi-snipe rifle is so stupid.
It's like, yeah, when are you going to use that?
There's no time you're going to use it.
Point blank.
Yeah.
Point blank, you go on zero.
You just use pistols.
The Sombra is another neat piece. 4 deployment +8. And then they've got camo, climbing plus, no wounding cap, stealth, surprise attack -3, and mim -3. So they're a pseudo heavy infantry with arm 3 BTS 6. They're only BS 12, but they got a ton of profiles. There's a core specialist with multi-rifle light shotgun AP mines, a killer hacker with a multi-rifle light shotgun, a hacker with a multi-rifle and light shotgun, and then just a red fury. They're pretty aggressively point costed, but it does give you a gunfighter option that starts like way up table with surprise attack, which is neat. Camo piece shows up in the middle of the table and fights pretty hard. I'd like them better if they were BS13. If they dropped one of their things for BS13, I think it'd be great. BS12 is the only thing that I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it's worth the 40.
Yeah, or if they could link at least.
Yeah. Well, they're a camo piece, they're never going to link, right? Camo tends not to link.
Yeah.
And why take Sombras when you can take these guys? Evaders, hell yeah. There's the BS13 I was looking for. Also pseudo heavy infantry with no wounding cap, shock immune. They're all specialists. They're all climbing plus, and they all have deactivators. So now because they're heavy infantry, though, they can get hacked, which sucks. So the pseudo-ness of their heavy infantry left them hackable, which I hate. But they're great gunfighters. They got all kinds of guns. Panzerfaust Multi is the 24.1, coming in 12 points cheaper than the cheapest Sombra. You got an AP Fitz Spitfire, a multi-rifle Panzerfaust with a 10 bat -3, boarding shotgun 10 bat -3. It's got a bunch of like specialist equipment, so like decharges and AP mines. And then you also get a Fuhrbach with that 10 bot and decharges, which is real nice. There's 3 engineer profiles with like all the different weapons, like AP Spitfire, boarding shotgun, or multi-rifle. And this guy can link. He can link with
everyone. He's the core guy.
He's the core. Yeah. He's the core. It has to be Harris. But
yeah, Harris plus.
Yeah. But very cool. He's a really cool profile. He's very affordable for what he does. The non-engineer ones, I think the most expensive one's the Fuhrbach, but I like that AP Spitfire for 29 points. Gets a lot of work done. And if you take him for 34, he gets the firewall and the engineer gizmo kit, all that good stuff.
So
the climbing plus is very nice.
Yeah.
He's no mod stacks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's paying 2 points less than the intruder sniper, or 4 points compared to the intruder HMG. Would you actually bring this guy against the intruder for 4 points? Like that AP Spitfire profile. I agree with some of the other profiles in here, but that one in particular, if I want a guy who can shoot, why would I bring him over an intruder or a mobile brigada?
Because I take him as a link. I take him as a link leader, not a
sure. Like then mobile brigada HMG for 2 points.
AP Spitfire is so good though, because it's AP.
I guess.
And it builds in firewalls.
So yeah, mobile brigada.
I like the brigada too. Don't be wrong. Like I like him too.
Fair enough. Because of the disco ballers and lobos that you're probably gonna squeeze in, you can close the gap on like the big snipers, and AP Spitfire will do just fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's just weaker, right? Like damage 6. I know it's AP, but like immunity's out there a lot more than it used to be.
You're getting 2. The only thing you're really getting with the mobile brigada is 2 more points of armor.
Wow. And
that's pretty big.
And a for realsies wound and higher fizz and 360.
Yeah, you can take him in the same link. So I guess it depends on how hard you're trying to get the bonuses from. Like,
you're losing out on the 10 bot, you're losing on a couple other things. I don't mind, like I like the Hope Brigada, don't get me wrong. I think that you could, if you take the Hope Brigada for 38, I'd rather have the intruder first of all to mod stack with, and then have the other guy leading my fire team.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
And then let's talk about the
iguana.
The iguana. We
could talk about the geckos because I brought them, but we didn't actually say what they did. I mean, they're baby tags.
Yeah, they're size 6s.
They don't have a unique gimmick like many of the size 6s do now.
BS tag +1 burst.
Yeah.
BS tag -2 damage.
Sure. They are fight man. The size 6.
They're a multi-marksman rifle that's PS5.
Look, infantry have that now, man. That ain't the infantry have that now. It ain't the same. It ain't what it used to be.
I get it. What I'm saying is it's a short-range multi-HMG, right?
Right.
It has the same damage stack. It has the same burst profile. It's pretty great.
I mean, the Mark 12 is PS3.
52 points. Yeah, Mark 12 is it's shooting pop cans.
That is the one thing that I really like about
Panzerfaust is PS3 too. Explosive AP PS3.
Or aren't Panzers damage 6?
Maybe. Right.
Panzers are 6. Yeah, we go to 4.
So 4.
Oh,
so 4 AP, 4 AP explosive and burst 2.
The big thing is that the Mark 12 actually chews up those immunity arm people because they're not immune to SR -2. Like they're an amusing, like, I actually like, and like the damage 5 chain rifle with burst 2 is also pretty cool.
Yep.
But the Mark 12 being able to just fight Maximus and friends, like those immunity guys that are out there,
pretty cool.
I like them. I think they're neat. I don't know if you'd ever bring one too. In all fairness, like, go crazy with it, I guess. But
well, and then there's the Lunicop.
It's hard to say.
The iguana. Sorry, that we didn't talk about. This guy sucks.
This guy gets a bad rap. This guy gets a bad rap.
APHMG, heavy flamethrower +1 burst, hacker -3. He's got a repeater built into him.
Yep.
Bizarre. SR -1, attack aware, and then he's got an escape system transmutation. He's baby Maximus for 63 points, except he sucks.
Well, he's BS14, unlike the Geckos. He's on par with the Gator.
Yep.
He has an AP.
He's size 7, but he's only armor 6, which is bizarre. He has the stat profile of the Geckos, but size 7.
He has 4 wounds to be active with. Even when he transforms, he'll switch to the other profile.
He's a full heavy infantry when he transforms.
Yep. With a plus burst heavy flamethrower or light flamethrower, because he pulls one out of his bum. And then he's got a plus burst AP heavy pistol.
Yep. And an AP HMG still too.
Yeah. And I don't know. I had this guy in my list for a little while until me and some other folks had conversations around iguanas versus intruder. And if they changed the infiltration shenanigans that are happening in bandits, I would bring an iguana. Cool. I can see where that 11-point difference, like, because 11 points just buys you your tag pilot. Like, that's the difference in that cost. And he has a built-in repeater, which means the normal counterplay that you could, like, go after a gator with doesn't work on him, because you're moving and hacking and fighting all at the same time with one guy moving forward and fighting.
Right.
And while he doesn't have the 2 extra armor that the other guy gets, and he doesn't have the CC potential, because he's got a hacker man protecting him and a better blast weapon, like flamethrower is just better than chain rifle.
Right.
I like him. And it's not like you are short on NCO guys. Like, if you go Lobo route, or Wildcats, you can get the NCO anyway, so you're not wasting your order. So I don't know. I think there's a world that I would play this guy.
I mean, you could take a 4-tag list that's iguana, gator, gecko, wildcat lieutenant, wildcat engineer.
I get to 10 orders. It's not 10 dudes. 10 dudes.
It's 10. I don't know if we're getting to 10 dudes. We're at 2, 4, 5, 6 dudes right now, and I can still fit in a baggage bot.
You got to get to 10 dudes. If you get to 10 dudes, you get the check mark.
You get the check mark now.
No, you get the real check mark.
Explain real check mark.
The real check mark is you have a list that you could actually do something with.
This one has 4 taco orders. I think you could do something with it.
Mine has 4, and I have 10 orders.
This one has 4.
I have way more than that. I have, how many orders do I have? 17. Like, yeah, no, you get 10 models in. There's a lot of factions that can do it.
This one has 7 models, 8 models. This one has 8 models.
You're almost there.
299 and 5.
Just gotta squeeze a little bit. Just get a little bit more. Just get to 10.
Just gotta get rid of the iguana. It's just like God intended. No iguanas.
Get rid of the gator and bring another gecko, and you get 22 points. And that's your two dudes.
No gods, no kings, only iguanas.
Can you bring 2? Can they link? Can you duo iguanas? You can.
You can. That's why I was taking 2.
Can you double gator, double iguana?
So I've never really looked.
That's what I was thinking about.
No, you can't. you
Not
can,
against that.
but
You
it's
can.
those four and one guy.
And one guy. And a wildcat lieutenant.
Yeah.
I really hope the ARO dice are kind to you.
That's it.
I better hope they don't have smoke and they just win.
So there's some unique Nomad tags that don't really exist in other factions.
Yes, all of the Nomad tags are kind of unique.
I think he's talking about remotes.
Oh, remotes.
I'm sorry. I meant
oh, you mean like the Vostok, which we're about to talk about?
The Lunacod.
The Lunacod is the one that we briefly talked about earlier. Yes, let's start with that one. That's the one that you get a.
Dude, I love this guy. This guy used to be the staple on my. When
God,
I used to play these, I bought these all the time.
I hated this guy so much.
Yeah, size 4, repeater, but move 8/2 with climbing plus 4 deployment plus 4. Mine layer of Crazy Koala.
Yep.
And then you either get heavy shotgun, heavy flamethrower, or heavy shotgun thunderbolt for 1 point more.
He used to have a Fearbach and an Acrolat cannon.
He did. He was a nightmare.
And then you'd go, I spend the Evo enhanced reaction, which affects all of my remotes, and all my remotes would have burst 2 and arrow.
Yep.
Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days. and then there's the Vostok, which is another nightmare of a remote. He's also
and they have heat emitters. Yeah, that's a cool remote.
The Vostok's 10 points cheaper than it used to be, though. I don't know if you noticed that, Owen. And there's 2 versions. There's a PS4 Mark 12 or just a Mark 12, and the Mark 12 is only 35 points. Arm 3 BTF 6, 2 structure, climb plus, courage, immunity AP, MIM -6 remote presence.
The craziest thing is that Mark 12 for 35 points is a friggin' wild card.
I know.
Like,
yeah, and he
just
gets to go and hang out in a group as an absolute giant bumblebee hero. The repeater version is the PS4 Mark 12 as well. So you get a repeater on top of that. But that Vostok I have 2 of them painted for my Corregidor army, and they can be absolute heroes. If you marksmanship them especially.
Yeah. And then the Cyclone is their other one, where he's like just a fight bot, like the Vostok, but 10 points cheaper.
It's kind of the Corregidor version of the what was the one in it's the arm bots, right? There's the Bulleteer and the
Peacemaker?
Peacemakers. Yeah. They're the 2 sides of that, just like Pano has. Whereas the Bulleteer is the MIM -6 one, and then the Peacemaker is the heavy armor guy. Although in this one, the heavy armor guy is also MIM -6.
Well, the Peacemaker's not really heavy armor, but he gets a friend. So
he doesn't have 2 structure either. Neither does the Cyclone.
He gets a friend though, so there's 2 of him. He's different better.
He gets a little disposable flamethrower, man.
He's also a mine layer.
The Vostok is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Immunity AP is pretty great on Arm 3 as well. And then MIM -6
a little more.
Get that 1 extra armor when you need it.
1 extra armor, and also you get to drop in the immunity AP it goes to his BTS as well.
Yep. So Breaker doesn't work.
Breaker doesn't work on him.
Fair enough.
Right. So BTS 6. It also works on hacking programs.
Does it? I thought no, immunity doesn't work against comms attacks.
No, yeah.
Oh, because it's a comms attack. That's right.
Yeah. It would work against EM.
It would work against EM. It would work against
Viral doesn't work already because he's structure.
Because he's structure, so no viral, yeah. I don't think what else would hit BTS. I think that's it.
Yeah. Breaker and EM.
Specifically, yeah. So there it is, man. Corregidor. What a list. It's funny because as the oldest sectorial, because we always use these oldest and newest, a lot of times the oldest sectorial doesn't feel like it has tons of ways you can play it and tons of options. Corregidor is so good still. Like they're by far and away my favorite Nomad faction, just from like their playability. They don't have like the gimmicks and the memes that the other ones have, but they're just good. They're just space hippies. Just space hippies with cool robots, cool like heavy infantry and medium infantry units,
and like the space cops.
Jurisdictional command of Corregidor.
Yeah, they're literally the space cops. They have prisoners.
No, they're the space prisoners. I don't know if they're the space cops. They might be the correctional facility.
We also didn't talk about Senor Massacre.
Oh, we forgot.
Because he's almost unique now. It's only here in White Company, and White Company doesn't exist. So
yeah, let's talk about him.
Like he's a wild card, but he counts as a Jaguar, which is something.
Yep.
So you can bring him with a bunch of Jaguars to get bonuses.
He's the Deadpool.
He has Eclipse grenades. And you
Sure
don't get
does.
those very much anymore.
No, they have reduced Eclipse grenades. But I mean,
could be able to do
disco ballers are everywhere. So.
It's true.
Yeah.
Not Natural Born Warrior, Martial Arts 3, Shock Immune. He's got an EM close combat weapon.
Stealth.
Yeah, Regen. Regen is cool on Fizz 13.
He's actually up there as one of the best CC guys in the game.
He is,
amusingly,
NBW.
because of the 2 dice with Natural Born at 24, and having an EM CCW. He's very, very, very good in melee,
and he can eclipse himself to get into combat with anybody. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what visor you're carrying. He eclipses in and then walks down and goes maximum effort.
Natural Born Warrior puts him in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
His only downside is he's armed 2 with 1 wound. And like, I know he regens, but let's be honest, you just die. Like, if he does go for it and he tries to fight another one of the big melee guys, if he doesn't win, if he doesn't get the crit, he'll die. But
he's be 27s unless he's fighting another.
He'll be 27s. Yep. And that's as good as a Hatamoto.
It's a 40% crit rate.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Down. No, 40% crit rate's pretty great with an EMCCW, and the fact that he can sneak around. He's really, really terrifying to see across the table if you have a tag. If your army's leaning into a tag, you don't want to see him because he can get you kind of no matter where you're at. The only downside is he's slow. Right, he's 4/4, so it takes him a while to get there. But he'll well, and if he eclipses his way in, he's gonna bring some Jaguars with him, which he's gonna get like burst 4.
Yeah, he'll walk into melee with a bunch of Jaguars
and be like, "Hey, I'm burst 4 with my EM close combat weapon." So if you're a tag, you might just die in a single hit. You might just explode from the bajillion hits that you're about to take.
And if you're alive, you're bricked.
Yeah, you're bricked to hell.
Yep. Just don't fight Valkyrie. If you don't do that, you'll be fine.
Luckily, also lots of people don't have Valkyrie.
Yeah,
so,
I think Valkyrie's in like one faction.
She's like one faction. Yeah, she's
like
amazing,
gone.
but she's just gone. So next up is going to be Bakunin, the Nuns with Guns. You've been playing this one recently, haven't you?
I mean, I play all of them. But
I know, but you played Bakunin like recently.
Yeah,
I played quite a bit. Yeah.
As someone knowing nothing about Nomads, I mean, very little.
It's like back in the good old faction. Yeah, man, they're cool.
I don't know why more people don't play
them. Because the internet says they're bad.
Nomads play there's tons of Nomads players.
There are tons of Nomads players. No, there are tons of Nomads players.
Oh, Corregidor. Well, because they are kind of bad. Like to be the antithesis to Ash talking about how they're really cool and they have all these options. My counterplay to that is not really. Like it feels like it. But no, my challenge is that there's a bunch of people who stand on each other's toes in this faction. So like you're right, you have all of these, you have drop troopers, you have hackers, you have heavy infantry guys, but you have 3 drop troopers who are all kind of doing the same job. And then you have 3 heavy infantry who are all kind of doing the same job. And like a pseudo heavy infantry who's in the similar boat. And then you just have support. That's kind of all you get.
If you're going to lean into, like, I think the way I'm looking at it is you can, for a mission, lean into a very different list too. And you don't tend to do that, Owen. You don't tend to take a very different list too for a certain mission, but there are a lot of players who will take a entirely different list.
What are you talking about? We played at Carbonite where I had one list that was 15 infantry.
I'm aware
the other one was 3 heavy tags.
I know that was the one time I've really seen you do that. And then you went to Adepticon and played the same list for 5 games.
Well, that's Adepticon's fault.
Yeah. So you can't cite the one time you've done that and then the 25 times you've done it completely
differently. I guess my thing is like, okay, fine. I can see that you go, okay, I'm going to bring a totally different list. Is it going to be drop troopers or heavy infantry?
What I'm saying is it depends upon the mission. You have a bunch of flexibility to flex into and take like a maximized list in a different direction. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying that it has those options where if you're not playing a kill mission, you know what I mean? You have to go and do a bunch of things and it's a complicated, got to make a whip chest, got to do this, got to move this thing around, which don't exist that much in Infinity anymore, but might come back in the new ITS.
They sure do. With every freaking tournament I go to has to play.
Has to play last launch and evacuation. That's right.
Every goddamn tournament now.
They're doing it just for you.
But my perspective is that I don't think like they have Morans. You're always going to bring a Moran. He's cheap and he does his thing. And he's a forward observer. So there you go. And you're going to bring McMurrow. and you're going to bring Jaguars. I guess for me, it's like these guys are very strong. Like I would compare them to US Ariadna, that they have all these different choices, but you're going to see more or less like the same thing. The quantities might change. Like, oh, you went all in and brought the 5 group of those guys instead of bringing 3 and a drop trooper, or you went all in and you brought 3 drop troopers and only the other guys, right? But it'll always be the same threats, and they don't really have a camel game. If they have the Sombras and the Bandit and the Moran, but they're going to bring the Bandits and the Morans, certainly right now. Maybe that'll change. And the Bandit and the Moran, like, they're just one wound little dudes. Like, they're just going to get killed by templates. They're not the same as, like, we were talking about Yu Ching for a while, and I remember some of their names. The Hack Tao.
Do you though?
Or the
Do you remember any of their names?
Or the Zensha, who are like similar versions of these guys, but they're just better at the job of doing those move around push buttons. So like I think Corregidor is very strong. Like I'm not trying to dissuade that like, oh, you shouldn't play these or like they're bad. It's just you're gonna kind of play, did I hack you, shoot you with a tag, or McMurrow?
Right.
And like that's what's gonna happen to you in most of your games. And if those 3 things shut down, if you lose the hacking game or your tag gets killed and you're down to one of those 3 things left, you're in danger. And so if you're playing against someone who has played against Corregidor and they know that, yeah, you're probably going to hit me with a very quick and very durable hacking team, and then you have a powerful tag or powerful heavy infantry, and then you'll have McMurrow. If I know how to deal with the 3 of those, which all require different problems, like there are different things that you have to solve, you've played against Corregidor. You know what Corregidor is going to bring. The quantities may change, but that's Corregidor, which is, and the reason I bring that up is because Bakunin is not like that.
Very
different. We talk about it next time.
Yeah, very different.
Oh my God, Bakunin.
Oh my God, Bakunin. All right, well, that's it then. We will see you for the next one next week as we jump into some Bakunins. Bye, everybody.
Bye.